This is NextGen Nexus, your premier source for next-generation technology insights.
What if AI could learn and make decisions, kind of like we do? That's what's so cool about these LLM-based agents. They can use tools and stuff. They understand information, and they can even interact with the world around them.
It's like giving a language model, which is already good at understanding and generating text, a set of hands to actually do things.
So it's not just a chatbot sitting there. It's more like a digital assistant that can learn to get stuff done, right?
Exactly. And they're not just stuck with text anymore. They're starting to be able to process images, sounds, and even combine information from different places. You can imagine, what if they could understand what they see in a video, and then they could, do something based on that.
Wow, that's pretty wild. So what could they do in the real world, right now?
Well, for example, in software development, they can write code, find bugs, speed things up. There are even some that analyze research papers and suggest new hypotheses, which could totally change how we make discoveries.
That sounds like it could really speed things up in lots of fields. What about for regular people? How could they help us?
They could be really powerful personal assistants. Think of an agent that manages your schedule, reminds you about stuff, even helps you learn new things.
So it's like a super organized friend who knows everything and is always there to help. What about if there are lots of these agents all working together?
Oh, that's when things get really interesting. They can form teams to solve problems that are way too complicated for just one. You can imagine a team working on a design project, each with a different specialty. One focuses on looks, another on how it works, and another on cost.
So it's like how human teams work, but maybe way faster and better.
Yeah, and it doesn't stop there. What if agents worked with humans, helping us make better choices?
So not replacing us, but partners to help us do more.
Right. Picture an agent that looks at tons of data and tells you what's important so you make a smarter decision.
So there's this huge potential for these agents to change how we work, learn, and even live. But I guess there are challenges, right? Before we get to that point.
Absolutely. One of the biggest ones is how do you measure how well they're doing? It's not a test with a right or wrong answer, so we need good ways to evaluate them and compare different approaches.
So we need to judge them, but it can't just be pass or fail. It has to be more, complex. What are some of the other tough parts?
Security is a big one. If these agents are really powerful and connected to everything, they'll be targets for hackers. We need to build in really strong security so they don't get messed with.
So it's like building a high-tech vault to protect important stuff. What about the technical side? Any challenges there?
Oh yeah, scalability, for one. A lot of these agents need a ton of computing power. If we want everyone to use them, we got to make them more efficient.
So it's not just about making them smarter, but making them more practical for everyday use.
Exactly. And then there's the huge challenge of getting them to work in the real world. It's easy in a computer, but the real world is messy and unpredictable.
It's like teaching a computer to ride a bike.
Yeah.
It's more than just the skills. It needs to adapt and react in a constantly changing environment.
That's it. And to do that, we need big advances in sensory input, motor control, and real-time processing. Yeah, it's a really cool challenge, but researchers are making progress. Let's talk about how these agents are already being used. One area where we're seeing some real impact is in healthcare.
I've heard a little about that. How are they being used in medicine?
Well, they can analyze medical images like x-rays and scans to help doctors spot things that a person might miss. Imagine an agent that can find potential problems early on so diagnosis and treatment can happen faster.
That's really impressive. So could these agents help with research and drug development too?
Definitely. They can analyze huge amounts of data from clinical trials and research papers to find promising new treatments and therapies. It's like having a research assistant that never gets tired and works all the time to speed up medical breakthroughs.
That could have a really big impact on people's lives.
Yeah.
Are there other areas beyond healthcare where these agents could be used?
For sure. Education is another exciting area. Imagine personalized tutors that adapt to each student's learning style and pace. These agents could help students understand really complex concepts, give them feedback, and make learning more fun and effective.
So it's like having a private tutor who's always available and knows exactly how to help you learn best. That could be a game changer.
Yeah, it could also make, quality education more accessible to people all over the world, regardless of where they live or what resources they have. And speaking of access, let's talk about how businesses are using these agents to, improve their operations and better serve their customers.
I'm curious about that. How are businesses putting these agents to work?
One area where we're seeing a lot of innovation is customer service. Imagine AI-powered chatbots that can handle all kinds of customer inquiries, from simple questions to, really complex complaints. They can provide 24/7 support, which frees up human agents to focus on more specialized tasks.
I've definitely interacted with those chatbots before. Sometimes it's hard to tell if you're talking to a real person or an AI. Are they getting that good?
They are getting really good at understanding natural language and responding in a way that feels natural and helpful. But beyond customer service, businesses are also using these agents to automate tasks, streamline workflows, and analyze data.
So they can handle the boring, repetitive stuff, leaving people to focus on more creative and strategic work.
Yeah, exactly. They can help businesses become more efficient, productive, and make better decisions based on data.
This all sounds, really promising, but as we create these increasingly powerful agents, it's important to think about the ethical side of things, right?
You're absolutely right. Like any powerful technology, there are important ethical considerations. We need to make sure that these agents are developed and used responsibly with a focus on fairness, transparency, and accountability.
We need to make sure they're aligned with human values and used to benefit society as a whole.
Yeah.
It's a responsibility that we all share, the researchers, the businesses, and the people who use these agents.
It's a conversation that we need to have as a society. As these agents become more sophisticated and a bigger part of our lives, we need to keep reevaluating the ethical implications and make sure we're on the right track.
So it's like navigating, uncharted territory. We need to be excited, but also cautious, making sure we're not just focused on the what, but also the how and the why, right?
Exactly. We need to be aware of the potential risks as well as the benefits. But the possibilities are really transformative, and I'm optimistic about the positive impact these agents can have.
So we've talked about the potential, the applications, and the ethics. But what are some of the specific challenges that researchers are facing? What are the roadblocks between us and that, sci-fi future where AI is seamlessly integrated into our lives?
Yeah, it really does feel like we're right on the edge of something big, but also maybe a little scary. What are the biggest things holding us back right now?
One of the toughest things is figuring out how to actually measure if these agents are successful. It's not like you can just say, right or wrong. It's way more complicated than that because they're dealing with real world situations.
Right. So it's not just about did they finish the task, but how did they do it?
Exactly. We need ways to evaluate them that look at, things like efficiency, how well they adapt, and even did they make ethical choices?
That makes sense. We don't want to just go for raw power and forget about the consequences. What other challenges are researchers dealing with? Security is a huge one. If these agents are going to be super powerful and connected to everything, they're going to be a big target for hackers. We need to make sure they're really secure and can't be, manipulated or taken over.
Yeah, it's like we're building a super high-tech vault to keep something valuable safe.
Yeah.
We need to think ahead and protect them from attacks.
Exactly. And then there's scalability. A lot of these agents need a ton of computing power to run. If we want them to be everywhere, in our phones and stuff, we've got to figure out how to make them more efficient.
So smarter, but also leaner and less resource intensive.
Yeah, that's it. And then there's this massive challenge of getting them to actually work in the real world, not just in a computer. The real world is messy and you never know what's going to happen.
It's like teaching a computer to dance, right? It's not just knowing the steps. It's about feeling the music and reacting to your partner.
That's a great way to put it. It needs an understanding of, physics and social cues, and it needs to be able to make decisions super fast in a changing environment.
So it sounds like there's a lot of work to do before we see robots walking around, doing our dishes and stuff. But even with all that, it's pretty exciting to think about what's possible.
Yeah, it is. LLM-based agents could change so much, from healthcare and education to the way we work and use technology. But it's important to remember that these are tools. And like any tool, they can be used in good ways or bad ways.
It comes down to us, right? how we develop them and how we use them.
Absolutely. We need to be ethical, make sure they're used responsibly, and work together to shape a future where AI actually helps humanity.
So as we learn more about these LLM-based agents, we've got to be enthusiastic, but also cautious. If this got you thinking, share this with your friends and family. It's a conversation we should all be having.
It's a future we need to build together.
Thanks for listening to Next Gen Nexus.